My sister-in-law slapped me at my own anniversary dinner for serving myself first, while my husband looked away. I slapped her back, called the police, and when the officers walked in, Renee had been staring at my plate since I sat down. I'd cooked for 6 hours. Pork loin, the roasted potatoes my husband loves, a cake I'd stayed up decorating the night before, piping little sugar flowers until my hand cramped. Everyone else had filled their plates from the far end while I was still plating dessert in the kitchen, so mine was the only empty one left by the time I sat. When I served myself before passing the potatoes to her, she said, low enough for just our end of the table to hear, still serving yourself like this is your house. It is my house. I didn't say that. I just reached for my fork. That's when her hand caught the side of my face, hard enough that my water glass tipped and soaked the tablecloth I'd ironed that morning. The table went dead silent. My husband, Foster, looked down at his plate like it had suddenly become fascinating. He didn't stand up. He didn't say her name. He just sat there. So I slapped her back, stood up, and called the police from the kitchen while Renee screamed that I'd assaulted her first. Here's what nobody at that table knew except me and Foster. 8 months earlier, after Renee showed up drunk to my baby shower and shoved me hard enough that I fell into a folding table, I'd filed for a protective order against her. It was granted. 1 year, no contact, stay away from my home and workplace. I never told the rest of the family. Foster begged me not to enforce it for the holidays, and eventually, I just stopped bringing it up, mostly because Renee stopped coming around on her own. Until tonight. Foster had invited her. I found out later he'd told her the order was basically expired by now. Don't worry about it. He never checked. He just wanted his sister at his anniversary dinner and assumed I'd let it go the way I always did. 2 officers arrived 9 minutes after my call. I answered the door, still holding a dish towel to my cheek. They took one look at the room, my face red on one side, Renee's on the other, both of us talking over each other, and asked for IDs before either of us said another word. The younger officer ran Renee's name on his radio while the other one separated us into different rooms. I heard the dispatcher's voice crackle back before I even finished explaining the slap. Active order on file. Subject is in violation as of this address. Renee went quiet in the doorway. That expired, she said. Foster told me, it's active until March, the officer said, already reaching for his cuffs. You're in violation just by being inside this house. Foster stood up so fast his chair hit the wall. Wait, I told her it was fine. I said, you're not the one it protects, sir. They read Renee her rights while she twisted around to stare at Foster, not me. You told me it was expired. You told me, she shouted, and for the first time all night, my husband had absolutely nothing to say. They led her out to the patrol car still in her heels, my mother-in-law trailing behind sobbing that this was all a misunderstanding. Nobody asked whether I wanted to press charges for the slap. It didn't matter anymore. The order violation stood on its own. No witnesses needed, no argument to win. Foster tried to talk to me once the door closed. I held up a hand before he got a full sentence out. You knew, I said. You knew there was an order, and you invited her into my house anyway, and then you sat there and watched her hit me. He didn't deny it. That was almost worse than if he had. Renee was arraigned the following week. Violating an active protective order carried its own charge, separate from anything about the slap, and because it was her second documented incident against me, the judge added a no-contact provision that now includes Foster's parents' house too, since that's where she'd been staying. My neighbor across the street, who'd seen the patrol car and later asked what happened, mentioned she'd actually seen Renee's car parked outside my house twice in the past month, idling at the curb before driving off. I never brought that up with Foster. I gave it straight to my attorney instead. Foster slept on the couch for 3 weeks straight before I told him to just go stay with them instead. His mother still calls me twice a week insisting Renee just gets emotional, as if that explains away a bruise or a court date. I let those calls go to voicemail too. Full story on the channel linked below.